All right, I believe I am live. So if you're tuning in and you're in the chat, let me know if there are any technical issues. If there are not, then we're just going to keep rolling along. So it's been a while since I've last streamed, probably like 2 or 3 weeks. I don't even know. Been a while, but as usual, like I said, if there's nothing I really want to talk about, I'm not going to stream. I try and just stream when stories build up that I want to talk about. I probably should have streamed on the first day of the Kamen America Volume 9 and action figure launched, but I had other stuff going on, so it was just like one of these things where I was like, okay, well, these guys funded in like literally a couple minutes, and they were just, it was roaring out the gate. So I was doing stuff on Twitter, but I was like, I just don't have time to put together a stream today. It's just going to be like total, I don't know. It's just, it wouldn't be right. And I was like, I want to be able to like organize my thoughts. Matt, thanks for tuning in. Appreciate it. So I was like, all right, I'll do some like Twitter stuff. Mr. Grohovac, thanks for tuning in. And then eventually I will circle back to Kamen America 9 anyway. And actually, it probably works out better this way because it's had time. It's not dying off, but, after like the first few days, then it sort of like settles down. And then at the end of the campaign, the last 48 hours, it starts to pick up again. So there's just like a steady stream. So I don't know. Hopefully the stream today will get Tim and Mark a couple more backers. Last time I checked, I'm not going to do the math right here, right now, but the last time I checked, there were 2,042 total backers with a cumulative raised dollar amount of $137,697. I don't know what it is right now, but obviously, Tim and Mark, another successful campaign. And let's see, what do I want to say here? I got to be careful of what I say all the time. The Doomsdayers were wrong, and they have been wrong since 2017, 2018 about Tim and Mark. I know that when they launched this new campaign, there's always a couple people that come out of the woodwork and they say ridiculous things. And in the past, people were saying, oh, they're never going to get to volume 8, 9, 10 or whatever, or something along those lines. Well, here they are. It's Kamen America Volume 9. They have action figures out. They're doing more animation. They continue to build and do cool things and figure out ways and doing little new animations here and there to energize their reader base and all of this. So they're just doing like really good things. Matt, dollar amount I just backed this morning. I went to the Indiegogo cover because I didn't really like either of the ones offered on Kickstarter. All right, let's go to Indiegogo. Bam. Yeah, this is pretty cool. So Indiegogo currently, I haven't refreshed it, but 244 backers on Indiegogo, 30 days left. Sometimes Tim and Mark get complaints about like not offering all the same stuff, the same quantities on Indiegogo. And it's like, well, Indiegogo, for the most part, that's not where they get, it's Kickstarter where the vast majority of the people go. So for the people, not that you are complaining, Matt, I know that you are not one of those individuals, but for the people here and there that complain about the Indiegogo offerings, it's like, well, you got to tell your friends to back on Indiegogo, and then Tim and Mark will respond accordingly. If you don't do that, then, they're going to go to where the people are buying their stuff, whether it's Kickstarter or the Iconic Comics website or Amazon Kindle or any of that stuff. So Eric Kennedy, thanks for tuning in. Appreciate it. Point of Lights production. Hello, Mr. Ernst. Hello. So Eric Kennedy, obviously of Arc Athena. Check out the Iconic Comics website and all of Eric's Arc Athena offerings. I know more are on the way. Speaking of other Iconic Comics creators, so we have Scott Malin and Bryce Beal. Their Kindred Heavens Book 2 is currently funding, and it's also doing well. 689 backers, $26,210, 10 days to go. I would like to thanks Scott and Bryce for being my UFC buddies. When there's a cool UFC event going on, they will sometimes talk to me off to the side about the different fights that are going on. When the fights ended, if it was a good fight, they got little comments here and there, sometimes asking me which fighters I got, and all of this. And I was telling them for UFC 300, I'm going to the UFC thing here now, is I had to drop thousands of dollars on car repairs right before UFC 300. And on top of that, I am trying to get my books printed for Soulfinder Volume 4 and Noctis Terrari with art by Eric Canetti, which is very expensive on top of that. So I'm just like getting smacked with all these bills all over the place. UFC 300 was going on, and I gotta say, I was seriously tempted to put money on a couple of the fights, and I was like, I can't go down the gambling road. Don't do it. Resist the temptation. So Alex Pereira was fighting. If you don't know who he is, just know he's like an awesome fighter. Came to the UFC from kickboxing, blah, 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 blah. And I was like, I know Alex is going to win. He's going to win. Do I put money on? I cannot conceive of him losing. You know, there's always a shot, especially with the heavyweight guys or light heavyweights and all of this. The bigger the guys are, you know, in any of the high-level fights, one little mistake could mean it's over for you. But I was like, I know Alex is going to win. I have just dropped thousands of dollars on these cars because I have a 2009 Yaris and my wife has a 2011 Yaris, and so they're getting old. They have over 100,000 miles on them and all this, but they've been very good to us. So I'm trying to take care of them. And I was like, oh, dude, I just put the money on Alex. I think it's going to be a knockout round 3 Alex. Well, he won, but he won in the first round by a knockout. So it was one of those things where I don't even know exactly, because I don't bet on fights. So I don't know exactly how it works and blah, 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 how much you make and this and that. But anyway, I was seriously tempted. And I was telling Scott and Bryce, I was like, oh, man, if I just put like $1,000 on Alex tonight, that would have taken care of my car repairs. But I didn't do it. I've resisted. When you follow these guys so much, sometimes there's matchups where you're like, I am very, very, very confident. But, you know, you don't want to go down that road because it gets out of control fast, you know. So anyway, Scott and Bryce, thank you for being just good dudes. I met them at the shows last year, Bell County Comic Con, and then in Portland. And they were just really nice, really cool guys. So they got their campaign going. And like I said, Tim and Mark has theirs going. Also, Sven of Butch Killigan. If you're tuning in, Sven was saying, hey, when you read Butch Killigan, let me know, do a review of it. Well, the thing, Sven, is I actually did read your book, and I did like your book, and I thought it was a solid book. But I don't really do professional critiques of anybody, unless it's like Spider-Man or Marvel. Marvel DC books, historically, I have done that. All of them, they hate my guts anyway. Dan Slott, makes it a point to literally, anyone who follows me on Twitter has blocked them. And I hear every once in a while from someone who's like, all I did was follow you, and then Dan Slott blocked me. Dan hasn't really even been on Twitter for like a long time. But recently someone's like, the only thing I can think of is I followed you, and then I was suddenly blocked by Dan's account. So it has to be you or whatever. So I will critique Dan's book. If he goes back to Amazing Spider-Man, I'll check it out just to see what's up. But especially like other people from Iconic Comics. But I will say general things about it. So I'll be like, yeah, it's a solid book. This is the most I will do for Butch Killigan. Is I have the same critique of Butch Killigan that I had for the first Kindred Heavens, in that it ends on a cliffhanger of sorts, and you have to get the second book if you want to figure out what is, the conclusion to what happened in book one, which is perfectly fine if you write a good book, as Sven did, as Scott and Bryce did. Yeah, I'm there for book two. Definitely. Sure. No problem. But not everybody likes that. And me personally, when it comes to the Soulfinder books, I like to write a self-contained story that you don't need to read any more except that book. If you just decide, it wasn't for me, but at least I got the story. I know how this particular one ended, but it builds to every single book. It's like a puzzle, and it all connects together in the end. But when you sit down with that book, once you read the story, that's the story. That's what I like to try. Unless you could really quickly, Scott and Bryce are, and actually Sven is doing that too. If there's fast turnaround between 1 and 2, Eric Canetti is the same thing with Arc Athena. If there's fast enough turnaround, it's not a big deal. But if there is a long lag between books, then you forget what happened. You're like, what? Now I got to go back. I got to read the first one again, like all that sort of stuff. So for me personally, I like the self-contained tales. So, but that has nothing to do with whether the book successfully did what it aimed to do. So Butch Killigan aimed to be a very specific thing, and it succeeded in being that thing. And it seems to me that the vision that Sven had was realized in that book. So I don't really have any critiques of it. Like, I liked there's a kind of trippy sequence. I don't want to get into details about it. That's very interesting. And in some sort of respects, it kind of reminds me of the spiritual realm in Soulfinder Demon's Match with Redder, when he is taken back to his younger self on the battlefield and experiencing that. And there's sort of horrific elements going on and yada, 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 yada. I'm spoiling a little bit, but anyway, so I like that. But I'm also biased because it reminded me of my own book. So, but anyway, I am there for Butch Killigan Volume 2. I will definitely read it. I am there for Kindred Heavens Book 2. I backed it. And obviously I backed Kamen America Volume 9, and action figure. And I got myself an action figure as well before they sold out. I don't know if they had added, they sold out of their main stock, but then I know they had extras for various reasons, because when you mail things out, there's a certain percentage that, are going to be damaged, and you're going to have to replace them, especially if you're sending stuff overseas. But I know they dipped into that, and they felt comfortable with whatever they released, but I don't know how much they have left or whatever. So here, I guess go to the campaign. Blah, blah, blah. Anyway, yeah, just check it out. And all right, so let's see. I talked about Kindred Heavens, talked about Kamen America. Oh, yeah, just back to Tim and Mark for a second and the Doomsdayers. Hello, Mr. X. Thanks for tuning in. Appreciate it. Yeah, the Doomsdayers, they have been saying that Tim and Mark were wrong since 2017, 2018. People that you see on the YouTubes, people from the industry, essentially, for all intents and purposes, laughed at Tim. They laughed at Mark. They laughed at me. They patted us on the head when we were talking about things that essentially it was the blueprint for what became iconic comics. And they're like, oh, you little guys, little Marky Mark, you're working at the university, little Timaroo, your little ear doctor there. Oh, this cute. Doug, you working for a little newspaper? You think you know about comic books? Yeah, no, this iconic comic things. Okay, let the pros, let the people from the industry. We know what's best for everybody. Okay, we're gonna patch it. Okay, you go back to the little kitty table now. Okay, see you guys later. That's cute. You got cute ideas, iconic comics. Oh wait, yeah, you talking about conventions? Yeah. Oh, that's cute. That is so cute. You're gonna have your own convention. What? Bell County Comic Con? Oh, yeah. Oh, you guys are so cute. Yeah. Okay, well, you keep dreaming. One day you guys are going to make it. You're going to make it, Tim. Oh, Mark. Oh, Mark. Yeah, you're going to have a campaign to over $100,000. You're gonna get over 2,000 backers. Oh, that's so cute, you guys. That's so cute. Oh. So yeah. Let's see. there are some people that are gonna be watching this that are just like, oh, that Doug. Oh, every time he brings this stuff up, he's reminding us of all the things we said and did years ago. Ooh, we don't like that. Yeah, you don't like that. You don't like to be reminded of the way that you poo-pooed Tim Mark, you poo-pooed iconic comics, you poo-pooed our ideas. So yeah, no, that's cool. That's what you did. I mean, that's what you did. Let's see. Mr. X. Earlier, they added 50 from some of the other stock on Indiegogo after dipping into the reserves on Kickstarter last week when they added the autograph tier. Okay, thank you. Cool. The naysayers are quite hilarious. Apparently, they said Kamen America 10 wasn't happening. And today they announced Volume 10 is in full production. Nice. All right. Very cool, Mr. X. Matt, I really, really want an action figure, but I can't justify it where I am right now. No, I totally feel you. So I was actually, like I said, after the car expenses, I was like, oh man, do I really want to do this? Is this appropriate to do right now? Do I do this? And I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna go for it. And I was like, yeah. Let's see. Why do they sound like Macho Man Randy Savage? I don't know. It's like they're obviously not like Macho Man, but it's like a faux Macho Man, you know? Like they think they're all tough, they think they know what they're doing, they think that they're the kings of the ring. But you're not Macho Man. So thanks again, Eric, for tuning in. Kevin, thanks for tuning in as well. Says, hey, Doug. Hey, everyone. Appreciate it. All right. Speaking of, now, Eric July, he is not a naysayer, but I'm going to bring him up in the context of how the naysayers a couple years ago tried to make it seem like Iconic Comics had some sort of bizarro animosity towards Eric. So the other day, Eric July gave Mark and Tim a shout out, said this is nothing short of impressive. Congrats to these brothers. So here's the thing. A couple of years ago, there is one ridiculous, dishonest liar in particular who spent an inordinate amount of time on a stream lying and saying that I blocked Eric July on Twitter. And of course, when people stream and say that I did something that I didn't do, it eventually gets back to me. And then people are like, whoa, Doug, did you block Eric July? I heard that you blocked Eric July, Doug. Why would you block Eric July? I didn't block Eric July in June of 2022. I briefly, for a couple months, put my account as a private account because I had waves and waves of people who were, every time I tweeted something, were saying something stupid about me, about all that stupid hut smear campaign, lie, mountain of lies, and then they were going in saying weird stuff about my wife at times and trying to dig into the personal social media accounts of people at Iconic Comics and just all sorts of like really weird things. And so I had a private account for a certain amount of time, and I didn't follow Eric and he didn't follow me. So obviously, unless he friend requested me or follow requested me, then he wouldn't be able to see my tweets. That doesn't, he's not blocked. He was never blocked. But again, people had a vested interest in trying to cause problems between Iconic Comics and Eric July. And so they don't care. They will literally lie. They will say anything to cause problems where there was no problems. And I have always said that anybody that puts up their own money and basically takes shoulders, if not 100% of the risk, a huge portion of the risk as they're putting these books out or doing animated videos or doing live action trailers or doing whatever, I respect that, because all of this stuff is very expensive and you can fall on your face and you can totally fail and people might reject whatever it is you're doing, and you just put in thousands or tens of thousands or maybe even over $100,000 into these endeavors, and people could reject it. So I've always said that I respected Eric July's entrepreneurial spirit and nature, and that's cool. And I've said that his logistical skills are insanely impressive in that he has promised thousands of books to people, and then he got thousands of books to people when he said he was going to get them to the people. I don't know anything about the yearbook, whatever. It's not out yet. I haven't read it, all that. So I can't comment on that. But from a purely entrepreneurial point of view and from a purely logistical point of view, he is doing a lot of very impressive things. So, and it's always bothered me. It really bothered me that people would lie and say that I blocked the guy that I didn't block at all, and just try and start problems between me and somebody that I don't have a problem with. So, yeah. So anybody that wants to try and create problems where there are no problems, then that is kind of annoying. So Matt, yeah, he talks about Hut, shakes fist at the sky. Yeah, well, Hut these days, he's comic book what is it? Comics Gate Drama account is his new one. So that's interesting. He's essentially knew that, oh crap, like people keep bringing up the Hut stuff that I started years ago every time I post a video. So he had to lock all the comments. And that wasn't working out for him. So it's like, oh, okay, well, now I'm going to be Comics Gate Drama or whatever. Oh, by the way, did you see that book from the Comic Book Hut years ago? Some people were asking me about it. Here's the book if anybody wants to check out what the campaign was. Wink, 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 wink. Hey, remember how Comic Book Hut said he wanted to be an objective observer of the industry? Yeah, that's what I want to be too. We're not the same guy. We're not the same guy. Okay, sure you're not the same guy. I'm going to block everybody that posted I'm the Comic Book Hut. And I'm going to block everybody that posts the receipts that show that the Comic Book Hut was lying years ago. I'm not the Comic Book Hut. Okay, no, you're totally not the Hut. Totally not the Hut. K. Brady was right about you. So let's see what else we got here. We talked about that. Oh, Soulfinder. I'm trying not to cough here. I guess I could always mute it. So again, that is at the printer. So some behind the scenes info. I'm trying to go as fast as possible. I'm trying to get the soft covers out by early June and the hardcovers by late June. But there's always something. Something always comes up. I thought everything was good to go. And then the printer gets back to me. And this has been an issue since the beginning. I'm not trying to be like mean towards the printer, but it has just been, here you go. So with the printer, they have a recommended safety zone for the books. And anything that is outside the safety zone, they get really skittish about, which I understand, because they don't want you to, if there's any sort of like printing error, when they're cutting the books, they're afraid, for instance, that, the balloons will be chopped off or something along those lines. So they are like, should you move the balloons into the safety lines and this and that and the other thing? And my response has been, listen, okay, if it's really, really freaking you out on certain pages, fine. Like, just nudge it a little bit in one direction or the other. But we've done 3 books and a short story now, and there hasn't been any problems. There have been some close calls with stuff, but I have not had any balloons that were cut off and things that were close to the trim line. Like, yeah, it's close. You might just barely touch the top of this bubble there, but it should be fine. As long as they do the quality control, it should be fine. Anyway, so the printer is worried about stuff like this on certain pages. And I said, I don't want to spend another month going over all this stuff when it's been good for every single book that I've done. And so unless it's a dire emergency, like, I just don't want to mess with it. But if you really, really, really just feel like stuff like this has to be nudged down, fine, we'll do it. But I need my books. So that's where we're at with that. Everything's basically formatted, and now there's just, I don't know, we'll just say a handful of pages where we might just nudge things over a little bit here, a little bit there. I don't know. But like I said, there is always something. You think that you have crossed the finish line, or you're about to. No. Every time you get within 5 yards of the end zone, it's like the football field extends another 5 yards. And you're like, what? I was on a breakaway for a touchdown. And every time I get next to the end zone, there's a couple more yards that are added to this. What is going on? So, but we're getting there. So, Matt says, Comicsgate drama is so cringe. Like, let it die, dude. I don't even know what the point is of, like, I wouldn't want to sink, how do I say this? Like, hours and hours and hours every week into watching these videos, clipping these videos, and then just saying like stupid stuff about them, like, oh, so-and-so's mad at so-and-so. So-and-so's mad at so-and-so. So-and-so is mad at so-and-so. Like, wow, you just spent like 5 hours of your life this week just like clipping that, and I don't know, like, whatever, but I guess people are going to do what they're going to do. So, AL, thanks for tuning in. I appreciate it. Let's see. AL, drama is all they have. Yeah, I mean, when your model is sort of based on that sort of stuff, like, it's hard to reverse course, I guess. So, all right, let's see. Talked about that. Rosaries. Where was my rosaries? There's one more Soulfinder thing. Oh, okay, here we go. So Walt, if you're out there, Walt, if you're watching, says, thanks to Doug for the amazing Soulfinder rosary. Pictured here with my Soulfinder collection, 3 saddle stitch covers. 1 regular cover, working on getting more. Everything is available at iconiccomics.com. So long story short, thank you to everyone who's purchased the rosaries. I contacted Rugged Rosaries today because they told me a while back that they were going to try and get with a Canadian company and make specialty St. Michael pendants for me. They thought that they would be able to do that, and I haven't heard back from them, but there was Lent and Easter and all of that. So I circled back with them today, and I was like, hey, are you able to do the specialty St. Michael pendants? Because I'm still very interested, and I'm literally down to my private stock of rosaries. And if people privately reach out to me, I will get them to them. But on the Iconic website, they're sold out. I think there might be like maybe a couple left but for the most part, there's totally sold out. So, which is a good thing, but I need more rosaries. So anyway, I'm working on getting St. Michael rosaries, and I will let people know when those are ready. Rugged Rosaries should be able to do that for me. If not the specialty ones, they do have their own stuff that they could incorporate into new rosaries. Let's see. AI. Real quick, I would like to thank Thomas Royloop for letting me know via his own feed that AI music is ready to go in many respects, and it is here, and people don't like it, just like they don't like AI art. Many of the criticisms I sympathize with. Some of the criticisms I think are silly and rooted in insecurity. So there was somebody that in response to this particular one, I don't even know if you guys could hear it. It's probably going to be all messed up if I play it, but it was a post-punk jangle pop English 1980s on the success of Kamen America. Okay, so we'll cut it off there, whatever. Anyway, the point is you could tell the AI that you want post-punk jangle pop English 1980s sound. You could plug in your own lyrics if you want, and they will come out with stuff that sounds remarkably like that. So here's a good example. I was talking to Tim about this, and I don't think he would mind me saying that we're on the same page with this. Tim and I have both gotten with Shilava over the years, and Shilava did the Soulfinder theme song. She's done Kamen America theme songs and all that. If you have an idea for a song and you don't exactly know, like, okay, how, like, I want to tell her what I'm looking for, you can go to AI. It's a tool. You can say, I want post-punk jangle rock English 1980s, these lyrics, something along these lines. Can you do this? Send it along, and then the artist can actually be like, oh, okay, yeah, no, I know what you're looking for. All right, yep. Boom, 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 boom. And then they can do it. And it will be really cool. It's a tool to use to express yourself in ways that you otherwise couldn't do. And some of the stuff you can actually just put it to, I don't know. I feel like people are just biased against it, and they're just acting like, let's see. Oh, that was the Eric July one. Let's see. Where is it? Blah, 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 blah. Here we go. Close your eyes in the world of hate. Fight for justice.
Instead of words we sing, Kamen comes untold. Sin and lost creation, a story to behold.
Tim and Mark's creation, a story to behold. So yeah, you could come up with all sorts of stuff that is like ready-made. If you're just having fun, if you're just joking around with people, whatever, you're putting together little trailers, 15 seconds. I feel like there's nothing wrong with AI music. And I'm sure that there are people out there that'd be like, no, you're taking work away from real musicians and all this sort of stuff. Listen, I've paid Shilava for work. Tim has paid Shilava for work. I am looking to pay people for Soulfinder stuff, but if you're not a multi-millionaire, if you don't have money just coming out your nose and your ears, AI is a tool that you can use to do some kind of fun stuff. So yeah, but the thing is that AI, whether it's AI writing or AI art or AI music or whatever, AI will never be able to replicate something that comes from me. What I do when I put out a Soulfinder book, it's something that no AI could ever do. It's my creation, my collaboration with the likes of Matt Weldon and Bill Williams and Eric Canetti and Timothy Lim and Mark Pellegrini and all of these people, Rodrigo Aviles. And so it's a unique thing to us. And if I am operating from the premise that my audience, the only, at the end of the day, the only audience that matters is God, and I am trying to honor God, I literally don't care that AI writing tools exist, and I don't care that somebody could plug in, hey, AI, here's the script for Soulfinder Demons match. Make another comic script that is similar to, or the sequel to Soulfinder Demons match, and then the computer will just spit out, some sort of script in 15 seconds or less, maybe 5 seconds. I don't even know. Who knows? It could do it, but it's not me. It's just the computer. And if people liked it, I don't care. Like, whatever. I literally don't care, because when I put my name on my books, that's what I care about. Like, I just care that I am putting out the best product that I can. I am not concerned about what an algorithm is doing with Soulfinder. I'm not concerned about what an algorithm is saying about me or doing or any of that sort of stuff. Like, the only thing that I will say is that AI is actually kind of scary. And when you think about all the ways that this powerful tool can be abused, that is not cool. Like, if the AI that we have access to right now is this powerful and can do this many things, that means that governments around the world, they have the heavy duty stuff that can do far more than anything the public has access to. And the government is not concerned about making funny jingle jangle English post-punk rock songs about comic books. Governments around the world, particularly police states and tyrannical governments, they are interested in using AI to find ways to control people and to keep people boxed in and set people up and entrapment and all sorts of strange, evil things or whatever. So it's scary in that respect, but it's here and it's a tool, and I will try and use the tool when appropriate to bring a smile to somebody's face, to figure out ways to look at things from different angles that otherwise I wouldn't have seen, because sometimes you're too close to the project, that sort of stuff. So where was it? Cataclysmic Comics yesterday, they sped up my timeline. Came out with a Soulfinder Saturday morning cartoon metal song.
Unholy darkness lurking in the night. Soulfinder, ready to ignite. Bring the fury like a raging storm. Exercise those demons, show no remorse.
Exercise those demons, show no remorse.
Fearless warrior, defender of the light. He battles demons with all his might, with his sword and shield. He'll never flee, so bring us here to set the spirits free. Through the shadows, where the evil dwells, Soulfinder roams. The gates of hell, his heart is filled with courage. Unwavering steel, wields the darkness, may come be lost in
So AI, very powerful tool. You could do all all sorts of interesting things with AI, and I'm very happy to be able to, I don't know, mess around and see what it's capable of. Yeah, so thank you, Cataclysmic Comics, for speeding up my timeline and trying to figure out how I wanted to approach all of that. So very cool. There's somewhere around here. I thought I did my own. Where is it? I thought I did do my own somewhere. Nudes in bio. No, we want to block you. Generative AI is bad. Is it bad? Or is it just a tool there, brother? Dominic? I think it's just a tool. I don't think it's good or bad. I think it's good or bad depending on the person who's using it. So anyway, oh, here we go. Soulfinder, the cartoon.
Mission true, bearing the stars of battles untold, their spirits aflame, their hearts bold, across the wastelands they roll. Guided by faith, they're never alone, through fire and ice they tread, facing the darkness where demons are bred. Soulfinder, why is your eye in prayer? Souls and blood, with strength and faith they fight the night, against the fire they rise to fight.
Okay. Anyway, if I ever have an extra chunk of change and I can put together a very cool animated trailer or something along those lines, I would want there to be an epic rock cartoon trailer, some sort of epic heavy metal trailer, and then I could pair it with the animation. But we'll see how it goes. I got to get the books out. I got to concentrate on them. And then after the books are out and all our buttons are buttoned, all our zippers are zipped, all of that. Once that happens, then I can concentrate on doing like fun stuff. So we'll see how it goes. Anyway, that's about it for now. I was debating whether I should talk about some political stuff. Tagia, thanks for tuning in. I appreciate it. Captain Cummings, I didn't know Doug was live streaming. Yeah, I'm sorry. I just sort of like, on a whim a lot of these times, just come out with the live stream and then we go from there. Anyone wants to watch it after the fact, they could do it. I think I'm gonna like refrain from some of the political stuff today. I'm just burnt out on politics and Ukraine and Trump show trials and all of that. So actually, one more thing on Soulfinder. I wasn't here. So Zero for Hire recently put out this tweet. It was very interesting to me. It says, So I'm reading this Soulfinder comic, and I come to this panel where a Navy SEAL is holding a similar weapon to mine. I own what's called a carbine, and I never bothered to look it up. Apparently, carbines are used for close quarters combat, and it's not a rifle. That's why they're chambered for pistol caliber ammo. Based on this information, I went and pulled mine out and looked at how I had set it up. It was set up like a rifle, and I was getting frustrated because I wasn't hitting distant targets, so I rearranged some of the main things I had set up. The dudes at the gun shop and the dudes on YouTube never mentioned any of this, but all of this was sparked by one panel in a Soulfinder and comic penned by veterans. So anyway, long story short, it's always cool to me when somebody sees something in the comic that most people, like 90% of people out there, they will not appreciate, they will not care about, they will not know about, that there are actually like real weapons that are put in. There's the military hardware that is in there is legit stuff. And Matt Weldon is a crazy awesome artist who knows a thing or two about the Second Amendment. He knows weapon systems very well. He knows how to draw them, and he always does a really good job. He's very very good with all the details that need to be there on the military weapons. And so it was cool that somebody that actually goes, to the range and shoots these weapons was able to be like, oh, wow, this is actually accurate to real life. And they're not just drawing whatever the heck, blah, 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 blah. Which is fine in superhero comics. You can do that. But if you have guys who are Navy SEALs, you should probably try and look into the weapons that Navy SEALs actually use and then properly, represent that to your audience. So anyway, Zero for Hire, thank you for checking out the books, and thank you for sharing that little tidbit on Soulfinder. I really appreciate it. Cataclysmic Comics, again, thanks for doing these Soulfinder Saturday morning cartoon. All right, I think that's about it for now. Again, thanks to everybody that's spreading the word about Kamen Rider Volume 9 and Action Figure. Tim and Mark, congratulations on another campaign. Scott and Bryce, congratulations on another campaign, another successful campaign for you guys. Sven, looking forward to Butch Killigan Volume 2. Eric Canetti, I'm looking forward to future installments of Arc Athena and Soulfinder Volume 4 and Soulfinder Noctis Trari. They are at the printer, but as usual, there is always something. We're dealing with trim line issues and concerns. I'm not too concerned. I'm pretty sure we're fine, but I might just, ease some nerves and nudge things down if they really, really want them to be nudged down. But the goal is soft covers early June. Please say a prayer. Soft covers early June and hard covers late June. That's what I'm aiming for. But I haven't even launched my campaign yet, so at least I haven't taken a dime from anybody. I'm taking on as much of the risk as possible. Thanks again for everything, and I'll see you guys later. See ya.